What is up, everyone? It's Skill Up here with a follow-up video to the debate that has been raging this week with relation to the difficulty of the division on the PTS and also how much loot is dropping. So obviously, as many of you will know, I put out a video a few days ago now, feels like a long time ago, but anyway, basically saying that I think that the PTS is a little bit on the easy side right now, and as a result of that, loot is flowing too fast. Because the content is so easily beaten, we're just getting a lot of loot, and if you're sort of soloing underground runs, you're able to do one of those every 10 minutes and you net about 10 items per run. If you add things like field caches and crafting, you're probably going to be averaging around 70 items per hour, which I think is a little on the high side. So everyone has been talking about this. Reddit has obviously been on fire, the official forums, other places like Butter has also just released a video about that as well. I'll put that in the description below. And MarcoStyle has just come out as well, released a video on it. And I guess the first thing I need to say is that I think it's really great that so many sort of people, just in general, non-YouTubers, non-streamers, just people are talking about this. And it's really great to see also, like YouTubers and streamers and those sorts of people, content creators, also talking about this. And I'm noticing that while the debate at the beginning was really like balls to the wall crazy, like skill up is the devil, it's really changed a lot in the last few days, and it's very much become about sort of listening to each other and really sort of seeing different perspectives, and I think that's been so great. I definitely have sensed that on Reddit in particular, where I think people are just willing to see it a different way right now, and I think that's great because it's going to help us land at the right place. So yeah, so that's the sort of setup for this, and I guess specific to MarcoStyle's video, which I want to talk about today, really want to thank him for that video. I have tremendous respect for MarcoStyle. He's unquestionably one of the best, Division YouTube content creators, and always has been. He's like been covering the game since day dot. So huge respect for Marco, and really appreciated his perspective on in the video that he put out. However, I don't agree with it. Essentially, Marco was of a view that the reason that I found underground challenge mode so simple was because I had a really good gear loadout, which is 4-piece Predator's Mark and 2-piece Nomad. And as a result, he felt like, well, that is one of the best gear sort of setups or loadouts that you can have right now. It's very efficient in terms of damage dealing and self-healing. So that's why I am, able to crush through content in the way that I am. So this is the part that I really disagree with, because what you were seeing in my videos had really very little to do with the amount of damage that Predator's Mark dealt, because Predator's Mark deals damage as a bleed after your initial bullets land. So when I took down that boss in 20 bullets or around that, the bleed had nothing to do with that. And similarly, the Nomad health on kill is really good for topping me up when I'm low, but it doesn't do anything with relation to actual mitigation. So I was at 50% mitigation during that video, about 270k toughness. Nomad only heals me when I take damage. It doesn't stop me from taking damage in the first place. And my argument is very much the fact that I don't think NPCs are dealing enough damage right now. The other thing I should mention is that everyone's really worried about health on kill right now. Everyone's like, the reason Skill Up could do this is because health on kill is out of control. We have to nerf, we have to nerf health on kill. So to respond to all of that, and I think that's all really valid input, what I did was I created a new character on the PTS. I, obviously opened up all of the 30 sealed caches that I had, and then I just took some items which just generally sort of fit the stats that I was looking for. But it's really important to note that at this point I decided I was not going to run with any gear set bonuses. So I was not going to have Predator's Mark or Nomad or anything else. I'm literally going to be running 6 gear sets items that don't give me any set bonuses, right? So that's number one. The other thing I actively steered away from was health on kill. I did land at about 10% health on kill though. That wasn't by design, that was just kind of by accident, but I really don't think that's a problem because 10% health on kill is very reachable on the live servers right now. And as you'll see in the footage, I don't really think that it's the reason why the content is so easy. So as I said about this, I'm like, cool, I've got my gear loadout now, I recalibrated it, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. And this was the final build that I put together. It's, 188k DPS, which is less DPS than I had before. It's 319k toughness. It's the same mitigation though, it's 50%. I just have slightly more HP than I did earlier. And I got 74k skill power, which is about the same, but you'll notice there's no gear set bonuses active on that whatsoever. It's just a completely crappy build. Plus, I also don't have like 3 out of 4 performance mods. I have like 1 performance mod for smart cover that's in there, but then I end up not using that because I don't take cover later on, but we'll get to that. So yeah, I mean, that's the basic loadout. As you can see, anyone's going to be able to develop this straight away. This is like the first 6 gear pieces that you get that are 229 that you can recalibrate. You can just create what I have just created like that, right? That's it. It's pretty simple. Maybe it would require 15 to 20 pieces because you might want to get some minor, stat changes or whatever. But the point is, anyone's going to be able to do this as soon as they hit World Tier 4. Anyone, right? Simple as that. Doesn't matter what gear sets, doesn't matter what kind of bonus you're trying to achieve. Anyone is going to be able to do this as soon as they hit World Tier 4 or very soon after that because a lot of loot drops. But anyway, let's move on. All right, so at this point I'm like, cool, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Let's just run through Underground and I'll show that, it's still really easy even when I'm running no gear set bonuses whatsoever, right? But as I was doing it, I was like, you know what? This is actually still too easy. So why don't I kick it up a notch? And why don't I say I'm actually never going to take cover? So as you're seeing in this footage here, I'm going through Underground Challenge mode and I'm purposefully never ever taking cover. I'm only firing at an enemy when they have the chance to fire back at me, and I'm constantly trading damage with them because the game does not punish me enough by way of, enemy damage output. And as a result, I can literally face tank everything at this point. But again, it dawned on me that this was still too easy. And so I added another condition, which was to say I'm never going to add aim down sights. So I said that I'm going to be going down, I'm going to be, running through Underground, but I'm only ever going to be hip firing my weapon. But again, I still found this too easy. So what I said to myself was, while I'm hip firing, I am never going to aim for the head. I'm only ever going to aim for body shots. And that includes never aiming for any of the precision spots either, right? All of that was that. So in summary, this is the complete list of all the conditions that I put upon myself to make the content difficult, and I still did not find it at all challenging. I said, 1, it has to be challenge mode, Underground, and later on we're going to talk about Warren Gate. I said it has to be solo. I said no gear set bonuses active. I said never take cover ever. Never aim down sights, never aim for the head, and never aim for precision spots. Now, the important thing to note about the point of never taking cover is that that is exactly what it means, never taking cover. You will notice many times in my clear that I very often abuse what's called line of sight, which is I move out of the enemy's line of sight so they can no longer shoot me, right? And that's fine, because that obviously helps save my ass quite a few times. But the critical thing about that is that I can't shoot the enemy at that point. They can't shoot me, I can't shoot them. The beauty of being in cover in this game is that, you get a lot of bonuses like weapon stability. You get the ability to fire at them without them firing at you. If you blind fire, sort of, you can take a little bit of damage, but not that much. And you can also have certain buffs that increase your efficiency, in cover, such as smart cover or steady hands, which is in the talent tree, increases weapon stability, or any other number of talents that sort of, or gear talents that increase your stats by some means when you're in cover. So yes, I absolutely was not in line of sight all the time, but I think we'll agree as you watch this footage, I am not being punished enough for being out of cover. So those are all the conditions that I put on myself. And I was still able to do 2 runs, solo, challenge mode, extremely simple. So I really don't think this is a case of Predator's Mark and Nomad being out of control. I think I had 10% health on kill. I don't think that's out of control. I think that's fine. It definitely helps, but it doesn't break the game. I really think the challenge right now is that enemies are just not dealing enough damage. As a result, I can crunch through everything really fast and collect my 70 items per hour. So I heard a lot of other talk as well about the idea that challenge mode is different in Warren Gate and in missions like that. And you know what? That's absolutely true. So the reason for that is because basically there are more enemies that spawn in the missions than there are in the underground. And that's really simple. You'll see that as soon as you load in, right? But enemy health and damage output remains the same, right? They are constant across the board. So what was next? Well, obviously it was doing exactly what I have just done, but to do it in Warrengate. And that's exactly what I did. I did Warrengate with these conditions. I did die. I died a few times owing to things like heavies. They actually deal a lot more damage than I thought they did. And, you know, shotgunners, I sort of underestimated them, and, you know, those sorts of things, that mistakes that I would not make again in future when I'm, you know, when I run the content again, because I'll know what to look out for. But the rest of it, I didn't die. This footage you're seeing here is actually just the last boss fight only. It's that room. But yeah, so this run took me a total of 30 minutes. So it was not quick, and it was absolutely not easy. I'm not saying that this content was easy, okay? Running challenge mode, Warrengate, like this, with all of these conditions is not easy. It was definitely quite tricky. But look at the conditions that I put on myself to make this content challenging. No gear sets, like solo, no cover, no aiming down sights, and no aiming for the head. Actually, the aiming for the head part is a lie, because I learned that I really have to aim for the head with heavies because they just have too much health. So as you watch this video, you'll see me shooting heavies in the head, because otherwise it's just, I can't trade damage with them. I can trade damage with every other enemy. I cannot trade with a heavy. So I actually need to bring them down fast, which is why I aim down sights. So that's Warrengate, completed in 30 minutes solo with all of these conditions. I think that if I had a properly optimized build and I used cover, I could easily get Warrengate down inside of, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. You know, I really believe that, because the build I was using was shit, and all the sort of conditions I placed on myself were extremely onerous. So yeah, this is, I want to be really clear, this is not some like dick measuring contest with MarcoStyle, right? As I said, I have tremendous respect for MarcoStyle, and I really value the fact that he provided an opinion in this debate. I really would hate it if people got the impression that YouTubers were going at each other within this community. Marco spoke to me about his video before he released it. We had a quick chat about it. We've spoken about it afterwards as well. And you know, it's been great. Like, I play with Marco, we chat all the time. It's totally cool. This is not about that. This is about saying that I think that the conclusions that Marco reached were not correct. And I wanted to provide an example of just how easy I think the game is right now, and how urgently I believe this difficulty question needs to be addressed. Because I do believe that if this game goes out in this form, that you know, hardcore players are going to be disappointed, but casual and solo players are also going to be disappointed, because I do not feel that they will find the game rewarding. The final thing I will note is that this build that I put together, it could be any 6 items in the game. It doesn't need a gear set that you've worked weeks or months for to be able to go through and crunch content in the way that I have just done it. I literally just took any 6 pieces that closely resembled what I wanted, no gear set bonuses, and just some minor recalibrations, and here we are. Now, if we don't think that, if people think that the sort of the gear mechanism or the gear system works when I'm able to collect any 6 items and do what I have just done, I don't agree with that. I think that something is seriously out of whack there, and just to be really clear, I do think it's about enemy damage output. I still do think that you know, there's too much loot flowing, but I think that's because the game is too easy. I think that if the difficulty was upped, it would slow us down. We would need to be more careful and considered with the way that we played. As a result, we would get less loot, and I think that would bring both of these sort of challenges under control. We would get the right amount of loot, and the game would not be as face roll as you're seeing that it is here. Anyway, that's my perspective, guys. This debate, I'm sure, will continue. The state of the game is tomorrow night. I'm sure the developers will give us an update on things then. I'm sure we'll hear an update on the release date of patch 1.4 soon as well, because they did say that it was coming out in October, and you know, hopefully this discussion has not delayed that. But if it has delayed that, that's a good thing, guys. Like, we want this game to come out right. The worst thing that we could ask for is a game to be rushed out, or the update to be rushed out when it is not ready, because that is the death of any game, especially The Division. So let's be patient. Let's give Massive the time to like land this correctly, and then, you know, let's take it from there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Special thank you to MarcoStyle for your video. I really appreciate it, mate. And yeah, take good care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.